Hi, Jeff Simon here for SocialFlight. We have an incredible opportunity that's been presented to us here at AirVenture 2019. We have been invited to help participate in the 30-hour inspection on EAA's B-17 aluminum Overcast. So follow along with us. Let's head to the airport. The aircraft's coming in and we're going to get to work with the team that both flies and maintains this incredible historic aircraft. I'm here with Rex Gray, one of the aircraft commanders here on the B-17 aluminum Overcast. You've helped us through. You gave us some things that we could do along the way, and we got to see everything that's happening as part of this 30-hour inspection. What's it like to be part of this aircraft as it makes its way across the country and really this phase of the life of the aircraft?
Well, Jeff, it's a real privilege, you know, and an honor. People ask what's it like, and I said it's like a pilot's version of running away from home and joining the circus.
I like that.
That's how I describe it. But it is a privilege and an honor to be able to do it. We're all volunteers, you know, because we care about the program, the airplane, and the history.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's just really something to be able to do it, to be able to fly this airplane without being shot at. You know, fly it that it's maintained well above the standards that it was maintained to in World War II, and share the experience with people around the country.
Yeah, I'd imagine there must be a dramatic difference between what you see here with a crew paying attention to every little detail and cleaning oil off of it versus what it had to do in war.
Yeah, in war it was like, okay, patch it up, it's got to go in 12 hours.
Right.
You know, and the ground crews did incredible things. You know, they would be out here overnight changing engines, changing props, you know, pulling one out of the mud and putting it back together or whatever. So, yeah, the whole maintenance program, I'm sure, I mean, I don't have a lot of knowledge on that, but I'm sure it was much different in wartime.
And I think, you know, that's a perspective that probably people don't think about a lot, which is some of the heroes of the war are these guys who sweated and bled on the ground and did everything they could to keep turning these planes and getting them back in the air.
Exactly. We had an opportunity to talk to a gentleman yesterday that was in the Bloody 100th as a co-pilot. He's 97 years old. and he was telling us that he was one of the pilots. He was telling us he was much closer sometimes to the ground crews than his actual crew.
Really?
Because they really depended on them.
Yeah.
And sometimes the ground crews even got to name the airplanes and do the nose art because the ground crew was such a critical part of keeping this thing in the air.
Wow. Now we see trucks that have like a tire, which is enormous. Other things. What kind of parts follow the plane around during its tour during the year?
Well, we carry, you saw it in the tire, we carry magneto. We had a fuel pump go out yesterday, and we happen to have a fuel pump on the truck. Cowl flap, generators, starters. We have a wide variety of spares. The tire, we just changed that tire about, I don't know, what was it, maybe 2 months ago I changed the tire, and we rolled it out of that truck and got it on and got it changed in 3 hours.
How in the world do you jack this thing up to change a tire?
Just like you do a car. Except, it's bigger, but we got, we got some pieces of blocks of wood and a bottle jack, and we put under the gear and we jack away until it's up. And then we wrestle the tire off. The tire is quite heavy. I can't tell you how much it weighs, but it's like a 3-person job and a special tire bar that we move it around off. But it took us probably about 3.5 hours to change a tire, which was pretty fast.
That is. I actually think that is fast when you consider the mass of this aircraft, getting it up and doing that.
Yeah, but we had I think there were 5 of us working. We had 2 mechanics and the 2 pilots, and there's somebody else helping out. And this stuff here is extra duty. We don't have to do this. All I have to do is come out and fly the airplane. But then you don't develop a relationship with the airplane and with the coworkers.
And I'll tell you, your crew here, everybody who's part of keeping Aluminum Overcast going, that we've just met some of the most wonderful people. I mean, including yourself. I mean, this is just such a nice crew, and it's fascinating to get to see the volunteers that are just here like ourselves, who get to swing a wrench, who get a little bit of instruction, and are welcomed in to try some things.
Right.
And I'm also amazed that, hey, you find stuff. They've already found lots of issues every 30 hours.
Yeah, we do find stuff.
And it's very similar to what we deal with when we maintain small aircraft.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exhaust. There was loose exhaust bolts that had to be found and done, and mag issues or plug issues, and a lot of it's the same.
Yeah, it is. It is the same. It's just bigger, and actually, we're doing this 30-hour at about 26 hours or something. We got 4 or 5 hours left, but we plan on flying the airplane, and this seemed to be the most convenient time.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a great opportunity, and thank you for having us with you.
Well, thank you, Jeff, and thanks for getting the word out about us.
We will. Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, so that's a safety check. Then we're going to turn on the battery switches. I'm going to talk you all through this, and then we're going to turn on these pumps so that I can sump the fuel. Okay. Dad, you'll go with them. Yep. So safety check, flaps. You got it. Bombay doors, gear switch. I'll talk you through it. Then we turn on 1 or more battery switches, and then I'll ask you to do boost pumps, and I'll talk.
All right. So we got to take the cowl off of one of the engines. So that became kind of our engine. We had the opportunity of being able to go, and you guys went and cleaned up things around the wheels, the brakes, and the struts on that. And then we got invited up here to the cockpit so that we could run the fuel check on the aircraft. So how cool is all this? We keep saying the same thing, but honestly, it just is amazing to be part of history like this.
All right, cockpit, you up there?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so on the flat pedestal, you see that yellow guarded switch? That's the flap switch.
Yep.
And it should be straight up neutral.
It is. Flaps neutral.
All right, next to that, near it, is the Bombay door switch.
Yes.
And then up on the glare shield is the gear switch. Should be neutral. Needs to be neutral.
All 3 are neutral.
Okay, real good. Now on the captain's left sidewall, you go ahead and take the seat if someone's there.
Yep. All set.
Just down where your ankle is, basically. You'll see at the bottom of that whole electrical panel, you'll see 3 switches in a row.
Yep.
Right, turn on 1 or more of those switches.
Okay.
Say what you're doing.
Doing the left switch.
Left on.
Okay. Now on the center pedestal, identify the fuel pumps.
Fuel boost pumps. Got it.
Right. now I need to finish drinking my water, so I have an empty water bottle so we can sump the fuel. So in a moment, I'm going to have you turn those on.
Got it.
Okay, turn on all boost pumps, all four.
All four boost pumps. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, and stand by. Okay, turn off the number 2 boost pump.
Number 2 coming off.
Turn off the number 1 boost pump.
Number 1 boost pump off.
Turn off the number 3 boost pump.
Number 3 off.
Turn off the number 4 boost pump.
Number 4 off.
Okay, now we're done. So battery switch off and thank you.
Battery switch off. If you've ever flown a multi-engine aircraft, you have a synchronizer or a synchrophaser that allows you to go and try to keep all the engines in sync there. And if you see here, the number 1 engine is what everything's keyed to, and then you have 2, 3, and 4 here, and that's how you, when it's running, you keep the engines in sync. Access to the engines comes from either the bottom or the top, depending on which one it is. So for the outboard engine, we get into some of the key areas that they're doing their changes for the oil and inspections through the top. For the inboard one, you do it through the gear well area and just below that. So let's go take a look at what that looks like. Here's something not everybody gets to do that's a perk of being here for this 30-hour inspection on the aircraft. Ball turret. This is unbelievable. Most dangerous position anyone ever served in World War II has got to be inside this ball turret. So he said we could try to get in. Let's see what we can do. We're gonna go through this.
Right left.
He's in there somehow. Now the key is we don't let him back out.
On. Off. Pretty long time.
Hey Jake.
I'm talking to John Hopkins, the manager of aircraft maintenance for EAA. John, this has been such a cool experience.
Yeah, good.
Definitely. So what's it like to manage aircraft like this?
Oh, it's a privilege and it's an honor to get to do it. It can be very exasperating sometimes
Yeah.
when they do have difficulties and we got to maintain them. But it's a good time.
How do you stay educated on so many different aircraft or aircraft of this vintage?
I read, do a lot of reading. That's the name of the game usually.
So the maintenance manuals, I guess, just like everything else?
Get out the manual and start reading, and they were pretty good about making manuals that people could understand back in the day. They're very thorough.
Wow, and I guess we still have access to all the manuals, so that definitely helps. How long have you been doing this?
Oh, about 30 years, 35 years.
Really?
Like that, yeah.
35 years in the field, or 35 years working on this type
Pretty
of
much
aircraft?
on this. I had about a 4-year stint where I went to the airlines and I learned about the airline industry and all that fun stuff, and then I came back to EAA and I've been doing it for another 17. So I had 15 and a half the first time and 17 and counting here since I've been back. So.
And do you do it all here, or do you travel with the aircraft?
We travel. We have a group of volunteers. A lot of them are here tonight that are all fully trained on maintaining the airplane.
Yep.
If there's a bigger issue with the airplane or the mechanics aren't comfortable out on the road working on it, myself or one of the staff will go out and give them a hand.
So you're really kind of like the core central of figuring out bigger strategic issues about what you're going to do on
all the planning,
things.
all the maintenance planning, where we're at, how far the airplane's going to get. I work a lot with the flight operations department. We figure out where we need to be. Get parts and equipment out to the airplane to do any maintenance or anything like that when it's out on the road.
Wow.
We try to schedule the bigger maintenance back home so that we don't have to pack up and ship so much stuff. And so that's kind of
what would you say is the biggest challenge to keeping the B-17 flying? Aside from money.
Engines are becoming more of a. You have to have an awful lot of lead time. You have to have adequate spares so that you can wait 9 months, year for an engine to come back. It used to be 3 months, 4 months at the top. You'd have one back. But engine shops are becoming fewer and fewer.
Yep.
Their workload is becoming more and more backed up. And so you have to plan much farther ahead for an unexpected or even a planned engine change. You got to have enough stuff.
For big engines like this.
Yeah.
Do you do it in-house or you send them all out?
We send them out.
Okay.
Send them out. They're internally supercharged, so they have to be done at a certified overhaul shop for that sort of stuff.
Well, looks like they're breaking everything down here, so must be getting ready to run it up.
Ready to run it here.
All right, let's go check that out. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, they are.
Number 4, number 3, there's 2 tanks for number 3, and then over there we have number 2, there's 2 tanks for number 2, and then number 1 is 1 tank. These 2 tanks for number 3 are tied together. Okay, so it really tied together, they feed each other. And they are the same capacity as number 4. Okay, so, but we want to kind of keep them balanced because they're in different places. So we could put it all in 1 tank, but it'd be kind of off balance there. So we're looking for 275 behind each engine. So we need whatever's in here. So we take this stick, 1 and 4 main, 2 and 3 main, left and right feeder. This is number 3 main. So you take this stick and you find 2 and 3 main. You drop it straight down in the back. Pull it out. What's the main?
110, maybe 115.
Okay, check it again. Just make sure. Okay. So what are you calling it?
115.
Okay, good. Okay, so we got 115 there. Okay, now. There you go. Maybe even 90.
80, 90, something like that.
Yeah, we'll call it 90. So 150, 115 and 90, higher math.
205?
205, we got to get to 275.
70.
70, okay. So we'll put 35 in here, 35 over there.
So unfortunately, mistakes sometimes happen during maintenance, and that's why we do a run-up and an inspection after any maintenance. In this case, there was an oil plug that wasn't properly secured for the number 3 engine, so during the run-up, oil started spewing out, shut the engine down. Now the cleanup process is happening with everybody chipping in, and then from this point forward, we'll get it all secured, do a run-up again, and we should be good to go. All right, so the sun is setting now, and the 30-hour inspection's wrapping up here on EAA's B-17 bomber, aluminum Overcast, and what an amazing experience to be able to help work on the maintenance of this aircraft. What do you guys think?
I thought it was absolutely incredible. It's an incredible plane, it really is.
Yeah, we got, Jake, you got to fuel it, we got to work on different parts of the aircraft. Ben, you got to work on it as well. We've cleaned it, we took panels on and off, and we got to see all the different things that are working on this. Really, really incredible. So thanks again to EAA for making this possible, and until next time, I'm Jeff Simon from SocialFlight. Blue skies.